Hello, hello. How is everybody this evening? Hi, Missy. Hi, Dave. I'm going to say hi to the people in the chat and then come back and answer some questions because we already have some. Hi, Larry. How are you? Hi, Craig. How are you? And Missy, thank you. We are doing great. Jeff actually just ran out to the store to get me some club soda. Hopefully, he can find some. He's messaging me now, which probably means he couldn't find any. Let me just see. Oh my gosh, there's like nothing. I said, because well, now the ice is all melted. So I don't want anyone to think like I'm that big of a drinker. That's crazy. When I started, it was down here, but I have a little bit of vanilla vodka and Chambord in here, and I guess a lot of water. And I said, Jeff, will you grab me some club soda on your way over here? And he said, sure. They don't have club soda. Okay. How about unsweet iced tea? They don't have any. Okay. What about ginger ale? They don't have any. I'm like, what? I don't even know what comes next after that. So anyway, of course, I guess if I let this melt long enough, I'll just sip on it, maybe. It's been that kind of a day. Anyway, so all right. Welcome to the live Q&A. I hope everyone's doing well. So Dave, his question is, and I'm going to put it up on the screen because there are people we stream to Facebook and to YouTube. So there's people watching from both platforms and you guys can't see each other's messages or your questions. So I like to put them on the screen. First of all, we did have a nice Memorial Day. I worked, Jeff worked. It's always nice. We have fun working. And what plans do you have for future complete meals in the Ninja Speedy? Well, I've done one. I did a lemon. What did I do? A lemon shrimp, lemon garlic risotto with shrimp, I think I called it. So I've done one. I guess that would be a complete meal. I'm trying to think if there's any vegetables in there. Yeah. I put spinach in there. So it's basically a full meal, one pot kind of thing. I've tested General Tso's chicken, which I did do the broccoli with it. So I think I did the rice, the broccoli. Yeah, I think that's a complete meal too. I've tested that once. I have to test it again. That was really good though. So those are the two that I have in the works. Now, what I've been trying to do too is think about the recipes that I already have and just sort of reconfigure them for the speedy. So like if they're pressure cooked, just kind of change things around a little bit so that they work in the speedy since the speedy doesn't have pressure cook. But other than that, like if I have a recipe for air fry, you can use the speedy. It's a smaller appliance, but as long as you put the rack in the low position, if I'm using the basket, you put the rack in the low position, any of my air fryer recipes should work just fine in the speedy. I don't see any issues with that. But with everything, first time you make it, keep an eye on things, definitely. I think, it takes to me so long to test recipes and get them out that I know everybody's had the speedy for a while, but I'm really just getting up to speed with it, pun intended. So it's a work in progress. I'm also working with the wood fire grill, which I'm absolutely loving. And I'm posting in the Facebook group the things that I'm doing because there's no way I can get them tested that quickly and then get them out as a formal recipe. So I'm just like writing up what I'm doing and my thoughts about it and putting it up in the group so that people can enjoy that. And I'm doing some of that in the Speedy group as well. All right, Larry, let's see. Do I have a recipe for peach tea? I don't, but my goodness, that sounds delicious. I've never even thought about making my own peach tea, which I really wish I had some right now since I could pour that into my drink fairly easily, right? And it would be good. Raspberry, peach, and vanilla vodka. That sounds good. But I don't. And I guess I'm assuming you're talking about with real peaches. Otherwise you would just get peach flavored tea and mix it with water. So I'm assuming you probably mean like from real peaches. And I don't, but that sounds absolutely delicious. I'm gonna have to think about that for the summer. I think we could really do something with pressure cooking. It would require though pressure cooking and straining so that you don't have the pulp in your tea from the peaches, but it just sounds delicious. All right, Larry's got another question. Don't worry, you can ask as many questions as you want to, and I'll get to them as quickly as I can. All right, I have a recipe for sour cream rhubarb pie. Which Ninja appliance would you use for this one crust pie? So when you say a one crust pie, I'm assuming that it is only a bottom crust, and a sour cream rhubarb pie. Almost is it sort of like when it's set on top? So like I'm trying to think how to explain this. So when it bakes, it actually like I'm going to say solidifies, which is a weird word to use for pie, but becomes firm. It's not loose. Like the rhubarb pieces aren't just going to fall all over the place. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway, I'm just trying to envision this in my head because I have never made a rhubarb pie before. I think, Larry, you'd have to email me the recipe. And the reason being is because without knowing the ingredients in the filling, I'm not really sure whether it would be better to pressure cook the filling, at least pressure cook the rhubarb part of it, and then mix it all together and then bake it, which you certainly could do. It would be a two-step process. As far as the appliance, it depends on what cooking technique, but you could use the Ninja Foodi, you could use the grill, you could use the Speedy as long as your pie pan fits in them. So the appliance isn't really as big of an issue. It's just the steps of how to get it cooked correctly. And without seeing the recipe, that's going to be kind of hard for me to tell. So why don't you email me the recipe and I'll look over it and then I can respond via email. And that will be a little bit more accurate than me just guessing. Okay. Sorry about that. Hey, Craig. I don't even know if I said hi to you already or not. Hi, Leanne. How are you? Hi, Norma. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Wayne. Hi, Christy. Um, Hi, Wendy. Hi, Linda. My footage is sorry. Um, hey, John. Good morning. How are you? Leanne, seltzer. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I'm sure he's gone by now. Gone from the store. I just said, you know what? When you get here, can you just brew me some tea over ice? It'll be fine. Pretty sure we have tea bags here. So that'll be fine. If not, he can just pour me some water. It'll be okay. I'll be okay. Hi, Brittany. How are you? Hi, Dawn. Hi, Faith. All right. Kathy has a question. I made pasta and it was stuck together and stuck to the bottom. I had enough water in there. What kind of pasta, Kathy? Because that really makes a difference. And when you say you had enough water in there, you were just making the pasta, I'm guessing, and nothing else with it? Was the water going over the pasta? And also, how long before you started it? And I'm assuming you pressure cooked it. So I'm making a lot of assumptions here. But how long after you put the pasta in the water did you wait to start the pressure cooker? Because that does make a difference. Because as soon as you put that pasta into the water, it will start to release its starches and thicken the water ever so slightly. But if it's thicker and you won't even hardly notice it, then when it's trying to build the steam to go under pressure, it definitely can stick to the bottom. I've had that happen to me. Now, usually if I do it correctly and I have enough liquid in there and I didn't wait too long to start the pressure cooker and it's stuck together like penne. Penne is famous for sticking together. As soon as you start stirring it, it will come apart. The other thing you can do, which I know, oh gosh, if anyone's Italian, they're probably going to start screaming at me, but you can also put like a tablespoon of olive oil in the water to kind of help prevent that from sticking. So those are my suggestions, but I would really probably need to know what pasta it was, because if it's the long noodles, and then there's a different issue and I can go over that. So let me know in the chat and then we'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. Hi, Mike 5. How are you? Mike says, very impressive kitchen there, Louise. Thank you. We actually built this to do YouTube videos because for years I was doing them in my home and I didn't have good internet. And we were looking for office space for me to be able to do live video and things like that because we couldn't really do it at my house. And we figured that by the time we were renting office space, we could actually buy a house. So we bought a little house in Mississippi and we had the living room and the formal dining room, which is behind me, turned into a filming kitchen, which is that way. And then this is my test kitchen. You see all the appliances back there? That's where I do all the testing of the recipes. And but thank you. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm real happy. Although I think I'm less organized than I used to be when everything was at home. Like now when I go to the grocery store, I'm like, okay, which house has this? Which house doesn't? Like, where did I see that? Do I need baking powder for, so there's challenges with it too. Um, oh, Christy, okay, you're welcome. Thank you. And I'm glad you're loving it. And yeah, popcorn. People actually use the air fry mode to make popcorn in other appliances and stuff, like air fryers. I don't know how that works. I mean, I know how it works, but what I'm saying is I don't know how it doesn't get everywhere. Like if you try to do that in the foodie, I use the sear saute with a lid. That's pretty basic for me. Okay. Robbie, I need to know how to do boiled eggs in the Ninja Foodie. I keep burning mine. When I do hard boiled eggs, and I have a recipe actually on my website for hard boiled eggs, so you can read through that. But what I do is I put them in the basket, or if your Ninja Foodie didn't, first of all, I should back up because do you have the pressure cooker? Do you have the Ninja Foodie pressure cooker and air crisper, or do you have one of the other Ninja Foodie appliances? Because there's a Ninja Foodie grill, there's a Ninja Foodie oven, and you can air fry two hard boiled eggs. Well, they wouldn't really be hard boiled, would they? But that's what they call them. They just do them in the air fryer, and you can apparently do that. I have not tried it yet, but so I don't know, and I don't really know what you mean by burning mine. I'm thinking that you have them still in the shell, right? That they're raw, and you're trying to make a hard boiled egg like you would use for egg salad or deviled eggs. I put them in the basket with a cup of water. So I keep them above the water. So they're actually like steaming. They're not boiling and bouncing around in the inner pot because that can create hairline fractures in the eggshell. And then they start to bubble out and explode, right? So I do mine in the basket, and I do it for 4 minutes on high with a 4-minute natural release, and then an ice bath. And the time of the ice bath doesn't matter really, just until they're cooled down. I find that timing works great for me. I've used my fresh hen eggs because I have eggs, I have chickens at home. So I've used that timing with my hen eggs and also with store-bought, and it seems to work fine. I don't have any issues. If I go up to 5 minutes, I have some green rings going around my eggs. So that's what I do. But if you're at a higher altitude, over 3,000 feet, you might need to adjust that time. If you like your eggs a little bit harder, because I like my hard boiled eggs so that the yolks are not like so dry that if you ate it raw, it would choke you. I don't like that. So mine are a little on the softer side. So a lot of this is going to be just you trying it out. And instead of ruining a whole batch of eggs, what I would recommend is that you start with just one egg. So just try the 4 minutes of pressure cook with 4-minute natural release with one egg. See if that works. If that's too done for you, then go down to 3 minutes. If it's not done enough, go up to 5 minutes. If you find yourself in the middle there, then play around with the natural release. Go a little bit longer with the natural release time and shorten the pressure cook time. So there's lots of variables that you can do. A lot of people do 5-5-5 method, which is 5 minutes pressure cook, 5-minute natural release, and 5-minute ice bath. But I found I had the green rings more times than not. So I lowered the time for me. Hi, Jolene. How are you? Hi, Crystal. I hope you're feeling well. How are you? Hi, Rhonda. How are you? Have I mastered any recipe for baked stuffed haddock in the 8-in-1 Ninja Foodie? No, I haven't. I'll tell you why. Because I can't get any kind of fish around here except catfish. I mean, it is like impossible. Salmon, I can get salmon, but that's about it. I don't think I've ever seen a haddock in any store anywhere near me, honestly. I don't even think frozen, but maybe frozen. I'll have to say, I'll have to look. But no, I'll tell you why, honestly. I don't do a lot of fish recipes because my husband does not like seafood. And the way that we test recipes, I mean, basically I would be wasting food. a lot of it because I test them so much. So I just really haven't done any. I keep telling myself, I'm going to do them. And then I get, shiny object syndrome and go on to something else doing another recipe. But I would think it would be pretty straightforward, especially if it's stuffed. I mean, I would probably use baked roast just like you would in the oven, and do it that way and just lower the heat because it's a smaller space. So there's less heat loss. Hi, Christine. How are you? Hi, Lucy. How are you? Oh, Sevierville, Tennessee. Yeah, that's probably, I would say, oh my gosh, probably 4 hours from us. But we were there 2 years ago, I think, and it was just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Um, Hi, Deborah. How are you? Hi, Elias. How are you? Um, okay. This is a great question. What makes a good tomato sauce? I try not using cans, but my sauce never turns out good with just tomatoes. So, it's funny because I've had tomatoes that were going to go bad, and so I thought, well, I'll just pressure cook and make a sauce or whatever, but it's always just too runny and it just doesn't have the right flavor. And that is because like if you're pressure cooking it, you don't have the evaporation as if you were doing it on the stove. So there's a couple of steps to making a good, and I'm guessing you mean like a marinara or a spaghetti sauce without using canned tomatoes. And that would be a long simmer time so that you reduce it so it's thick and that you're well seasoning it, along the way so that that it's not, that's going to taste good. Also, you can put in some onions and things like that, that if you don't want them in your sauce, you can strain them out. That's no problem. But all those things are going to add to the flavor. But the most important thing is a long cook time. So, and even slow cook isn't going to do the same as simmering because there's still less evaporation. So really that is probably best to be done on the sear saute in the foodie or on the stove in a pot, on a really low heat for a very long time. And that's what I would recommend. And that's probably going to concentrate. Well, I know it's going to concentrate your flavors and make it a little bit better. Anybody else in the chat make it a lot? Make homemade sauce? Brittany, are you still here? Because you might use real tomatoes. They're all real tomatoes, but fresh tomatoes. I will say something, Elias, that I planted. Oh my gosh, probably about 7 or 8 tomato plants, and they are as tall as can be. Like they're probably 3 feet tall, and they're just starting to flower. So I may have so many tomatoes that I try this. So check back with me towards the end of the summer, and I might have a recipe on my website for a really delicious fresh tomato sauce. Hi, Nancy. How are you? And Kathy, I know you said yes, but I don't remember what that was. I know we're talking about pasta. I do know that, but I don't know what question I asked that you said yes to. I apologize, but I can't remember. All right. Thank you, Wendy. How are you? Oops, I'm sorry. I'm moving things. Let's see. Yeah, John's saying pasta, use a bit of oil or butter or margarine. Yeah. And also, I can share this with you guys today because it was kind of exciting for me. I have really shied away from pressure cooking with butter, although I did pressure cook with butter in my chicken bacon ranch sliders, but there was like chicken in there and other stuff in there. So, and the butter was on top, and I thought it'll be fine. We'll have enough liquid that it won't split the butter or turn into a whole mess. Well, today I tested garlic butter green beans, so fresh green beans. And I wanted them to be in a garlic butter sauce. So I had to be really strategic about this because I wanted to pressure cook them because I want this to be a recipe that is super quick and absolutely delicious. And I'm happy to say that I accomplished that. These are really good. So what I did was I put 8 ounces of fresh green beans because I'm testing the recipe. So I always start out lower with a lower amount in case it's total failure. I'll waste less food, right? I think the recipe will be for 1 pound, but really it's not going to matter. You could go up to 2 pounds. It's not going to make a big difference. And I used 3 tablespoons of butter, which I might be able to knock that down to 2 and still get the same flavor, which I'll try in the next batch, the next test batch. Or what I'll do is probably double the green beans and leave it at 3 tablespoons of butter, and minced garlic, and just a quarter cup of vegetable stock. Thank you, dear. A quarter cup of vegetable stock, and pressure cooked for 1 minute with an immediate release. They are amazing. And the butter did fine. I was always, well, I shouldn't say I was always taught. I read many things about pressure cooking butter, and that if you don't have a lot of liquid, which I didn't, it will tend to either burn or separate and look really gross when you open up the pot. But it didn't. It was perfect. So I'm real excited about that. I get excited about silly little things like that. All right. Missy, you say, how come you don't? I don't know if that's towards me or somebody else. And I don't know what it's in reference to. Sorry. Oh, John, I'm glad to hear that you're feeling better. And Crystal, thanks for being so kind. I love you guys so much. I mean, I'm telling you, you are the kindest people ever. I got my club soda, by the way. Okay, so Robbie, good. Okay, great. Clarify. Air fryer boiled eggs. Okay, if you're burning them, are the shells turning brown? Is that what's going on? I would, obviously that's a heat issue. That's one of the things I've always wondered about. People say that it works out great, and I believe them. I mean, I don't think that they're telling tales or anything, but I haven't tried it myself, so I don't know. I would lower your heat, whatever heat you're going on, lower it 50 degrees, and then see how that works for you. Because if they're burning, obviously it's too high of a heat. But as far as nuancing it, getting it exact, I really can't help you because I haven't done it, not even once. I tried to sous vide eggs once, twice. Oh no, 4 or 5 times. Yeah, 4 or 5 times I tried. And the shells do not peel as well. They peel okay, but not as well as when you pressure cook. So my feeling is, if pressure cooking works amazingly well for hard-boiled eggs, why spend the time doing it another way? But I know not everybody has a pressure cooker, so I will be having about 13 well, no, because we have a rooster. Oh my gosh, we ended up with a rooster by mistake. But so we have 12 hens. I would say that we would be averaging probably a dozen eggs every other day. Okay, so I'm gonna have plenty of eggs. So I'll test it out for you. So get back with me. They'll start laying midsummer. And then once they do, I will test all the egg dishes anybody wants. If you want me to test an egg dish, you just email it to me, because I will have an abundance of eggs and not know what to do with them. Okay, let's see. I'm going. Okay, so it was elbow noodles and I started right away. I think it's a starch issue, Kathy, even if you started right away. I've done elbows. I think they do stick together. Like I said, Penny does too, a little bit. And you can't stack it. Like with long noodles, you can stack them so you limit the clumping. But I think they do clump up at first. Now, how long did you pressure cook? You might have pressure cooked too long. Let me give you like an idea about this, okay? So when you're pressure cooking pasta, it starts to cook as soon as the water heats up, okay? It starts to hydrate anyway. It starts to absorb that liquid and starts to cook. And then when you pressure cook, it's like really cooking. Like think of a super rapid boil, even hotter though, okay, when we're pressure cooking. And then when it stops pressure cooking and you're doing a natural release, think of that as it just simmering on the stove, okay? There's still heat being applied. So sometimes if we over pressure cook or over natural release, the elbow noodles get soft and release even more starch and they just clump together. The same thing would happen if you were doing it on the stove. So I would be interested to know how you're doing the elbow, what timing you're using. Because elbow macaroni, I would think if you're only doing that and water, Oh, I don't know why my phone. Oh, that's my mom. Oh boy, I'm not gonna answer. I'm not gonna answer my mom. Okay. Isn't that terrible? Sorry, mom. Anyway, yeah, I would say for elbows, I'm trying to think if I've ever done just straight elbows. I'm sure I have because I have macaroni and cheese recipes, right? Let me look. Let me look right now because it also depends on how much pasta and how much water. Because if you're trying to do like a whole pound of pasta and you're using that much water, your pressure cook time will be less because your time to pressure is more. Let me see. Mac and cheese, the salted pepper. Get the right one because I have several of them. And this is Ninja Foodie mac and cheese. This might not be a great example though, because I think I cook it. Melted butter flour. Okay, that's it. Oh no, I don't. Okay. 2 cups of water to the inner pot and 8 ounces of elbow macaroni. And I set it to high pressure for 3 minutes and a natural release of 2. So compare that to what you did and see if it's the same or any different. And then maybe, use that guideline. If you did it the same way, then did you use 8 ounces or 16 ounces? If you use 16 ounces and 4 cups of liquid, I would go down to a 2 minute or even a 1 minute pressure cook time. All right. Christy, yeah, she makes the popcorn with the flexible lid so it wouldn't pop all over the place. Yep. Oh my gosh. This is so embarrassing, but it's my mom, okay? So let me I've got to grab my phone. You guys I'm sorry, but it's my mom, right? Something could be wrong. Okay, are you good? Because I'm actually, I know, I got it at like 6. Yeah, but I'm live right now on Facebook and YouTube, so I'm gonna go. Okay, and I'll call you tomorrow. Okay, bye bye. Okay, she's fine. She wasn't feeling well earlier, and I told her to take some ibuprofen and lay down. And she said she would email me when she woke up and let me know how she was feeling because she's in her 80s and she lives in Maryland and I live here in Tennessee. And I didn't hear from her. And so I was calling and calling, and I didn't hear from her. And she sent me an email to say she was fine, but I didn't get it for hours and hours. So I've been worried. So anyway, she's fine. So she's like, okay, Louise, I'm fine. Why bother me so many times? I'm like, okay, mom. All right. If you knew my mom, you'd just love her. She's a riot. All right, let's see. Missy. Okay, how come you don't have your ring on? Because I've gotten too fat. That's the honest to God's truth. It doesn't fit. That's why. And I don't cook with it, obviously. And I don't do videos with it anymore because people comment about everything on YouTube, so they're always commenting about things, but the truth is I don't wear it because I'm too fat. That's the honest God's truth, but I'm working on it and I'm down 10 pounds, so I'm really excited about that. And next I got to get this exercise regime in place. And whew, cheers, guys. All right, I've got club soda, a little bit of vanilla vodka, and a splash of Chambord. Now let's see, and a lot of water. Remember? Okay. So, Robbie, if you have the pressure cooker and air fryer, have you pressure cooked them before? Because I'm telling you, once you do, you will not want to do them any other way. They are so easy. It's the best way I've ever hard boiled eggs. But again, back to the air frying. I will try to figure that out once the girls start laying a whole lot. And so Kathy, I'm going to put Kathy's message up here too about her eggs because this is another option, right? So she does her eggs on 5 minutes of pressure cook with a quick release. So I do 4 with a 4-minute natural release, and then she puts them into a cold bath, and they turn out well. I mean, there's no right or wrong here. That works for her. I have always been like a little nervous about doing a quick release on eggs because I feel like if I do, I might crack the shell more, which I guess it doesn't matter, right? We're gonna crack them anyway, right? We're gonna peel them. So I don't know. Maybe I should try 5-0 and a cold bath because that'll save some time, right? So, do whatever works for you as far as it as far as the eggs go and the timing goes. And Leanne's chiming in. She does 555, but that's in the mini. So she's got a mini pressure cooker, probably an instant pot because Ninja Foodie doesn't have, or maybe she has the 5 quart. I don't know, but there's less time to pressure. So 555 works great for her, right? So there's a lot of variables that go into it. And I think somebody said that they used the 8 quart and they found that 5 minutes worked better for them. So again, the size of the appliance matters. Your preference matters. Altitude matters. The temperature of the eggs matter. Even the freshness of the eggs can make a difference in the way that they cook. Anyway, all right. Okay, George, great question. Okay, so this is a follow-up on Larry's question about tea. Is UST the same as we have in the UK? As a Brit, it seems strange to have peach, etc. flavored tea, unless what you call tea is in what we call tea. Okay, so we have tea like you call tea. Okay, so we would have, tea bags that we would steep, or you could get tea leaves and put them in a little, thing and steep them that way. So we do have that tea. We do use that tea. But we also have a lot of powdered tea. So like we can get raspberry tea and peach tea, and it's just powdered, okay, that we mix with water, and it tastes delicious. So peach tea is a big thing here. I mean, it tastes really good. But I've never like made it from fresh. I don't we can get like lemon tea. We can actually get tea bags that are peach infused flavor too. Now that I'm thinking about it, we have all kinds of different flavors of tea that are tea bags. But yeah, our tea is the same. It's just there's just a whole lot more probably variety, and maybe sounds weird to you, right? Hey Terry, how are you? Oh, Jolene says I'm getting annoyed by a puppy that isn't playing or is playing the in and out game, and I'm trying to break him on biting and barking. Ah, yeah, puppies. Puppies. Just keep consistent, and my suggestion for all puppy training is crate, crate, crate. If they can't be right with you, if you're not right there, put them in the crate. They love the crate. They get used to the crate. It's not a punishment or anything like that, but you have better control over your training. I've done it both ways. Like I kind of joke with my husband. I said, we hippie raised 2 of our dogs and they're horrible. I mean, I love them, but they're horrible. They don't have any kind of discipline whatsoever. None. They'll do anything, anytime, pee on the floor. I mean, they don't care. So now I'm like, okay, we're done. Even though they're older, we are now going to crate train them and things like that. And it's working beautifully, absolutely beautifully. And they're happy as can be because they feel safe in their crate. So, oh, Crystal, that's so sweet. I just read your comment. I'm glad you're doing well. And I'm glad you could meet up with us tonight. You have a lot of friends in the chat, and we all care about you. All right. Okay. Okay. Aaron asked, Louise, I want to make your cauliflower steaks, but I didn't remember how you did the sauce. Did you sear, saute, and then pressure cook? I don't remember either, to be honest with you. This was a Tasty Tuesday. I just filmed the video, but I made it a really short video because I have a healthy spaghetti sauce recipe already. I've got a marinara sauce, and everybody has their own favorite spaghetti sauce, and you could use anything in this recipe. So instead of making the video longer and doing the recipe for the actual, spaghetti sauce that I did, which I don't know. Probably should have because it was absolutely delicious. Jeff said it was the best sauce ever, and I just threw things in. I didn't even measure anything, but it had sausage in it, which gives so much flavor. But I didn't. So I don't. I didn't repeat it. I didn't even go back and look at the video. I put in tomato sauce. I don't think I pressure cooked it. But you know what, Erin? I'm gonna have to go back and look at the video because I don't remember. I really don't. If Why don't you either send me an email or send me a message on Facebook, and I can try to look at that because I can probably get to the right at the right part quicker. I don't want you to have to go through that whole video again. Hi, Trisha. How are you? Oh, okay. So Brittany's got a secret, and this is a good one too. It's a little bit of balsamic vinegar in her tomato sauce. I bet it does. I think that that is amazing. And Salt, Fat, Acid, and Heat, an incredible book. I listened to it on tape, and I didn't buy the book. I listened to it on tape because I could do that while I'm mowing the grass and driving and things like that. So, it's really a good book. It's kind of interesting because it wasn't anything I didn't already know just from trial and error, but it was really nice to have that confirmation that what I was doing was right. So it was really good. So yeah, I think you'd enjoy it. It's very interesting, especially about the salting. And I always say layer your seasonings, salt each component of the dish appropriately, and the whole dish will be well seasoned. You always want to season as you're cooking and not after the fact, unless you're using a finishing salt, like on a pretzel, or there's some other things that you would use a finishing salt, which is usually a coarser salt that you just kind of sprinkle and you get that crunch and that burst of salt flavor. But you end up using more salt if you salt at the end. So if you cook with no salt and then salt to taste at the end, you're going to use more salt than if you just salted as you went, because the salt doesn't have enough time to absorb and flavor the food correctly because you're just about to eat it. So you taste it, you're like, oh, I need more salt. I need more salt because it hasn't had time to really absorb and bring out the flavors in the food. And that is the purpose of salt. Okay, salt is to bring the natural flavors out in the food. And that's why, and it'll even bring out sweetness in things. So that's why you usually will see a little bit of salt in sweet things too, which some people think is kind of odd, but it actually boosts the sweetness. So salt is an amazing thing. I know some people can't have it. I respect that. I was a nurse for a long time. But some people are just too afraid of it. And they probably don't use enough when they're cooking, but they might just have that salt shaker on their table and be overdoing it there. So it's a good book. I recommend it. Okay, so Misty's saying, I saw a video, you take an egg and put tape and then peel off the tape. What, to get the shell off after you cook it? I'm not really sure. Not really sure what that is. Okay, let's see. Hi, Jessica from Hawaii. How are you? Oh, you know what? Jolene, John actually does a lot of dog training stuff. Oh, so John, are you happy with me? Because I actually communicated with him via email about my messy dogs, and he was telling me what I need to do. Start doing these and be consistent and stuff, and it's working. It's working. I mean, they're even listening to me in the yard more. Not perfect, but they are. So it's really good. So yeah. So listen to anything John says because he's awesome. So Jolene, for her tomato sauce, she uses a tomato powder to thicken it that she makes. Jolene, I want to know how you do that because I made a really terrible spaghetti sauce. It was the time that I had all these tomatoes. They were going bad. I was going away. I threw them in the freezer. When I came back, I was like, okay, I know I need to use these. Obviously, they're frozen now. So I can't just slice them and put them on a sandwich. So they would be gross. So I'm going to just pressure cook them with some aromatics and things like that and try to make a sauce. Well, the sauce was so horrible. I'm like, all right, how can I do this? So I dehydrated them in trays, dehydrated the sauce because I was thinking that I could break that up and then make powder, but it tasted terrible too. So I ended up throwing it away. I was like, but the idea was there, and I want to look into that a little bit more. So, yeah, I know you have my email. So if you have a technique for doing the tomato powder, I'd love to hear it. Or if you want to type it in the chat, I'll share it. All right, let's see. Okay, Petra, do I have the recipe for the shrimp egg roll in the bowl yet? No. In fact, that was supposed to be my second test was supposed to be tonight. And I ran out of time and I couldn't do the prep and get everything done in time. So I tested Mississippi pot roast instead with those garlic green beans, which, oh my gosh, they're so good. I could eat those just by themselves for dinner. So shrimp egg roll in a bowl is being tested again tomorrow for the second time. And then it's got to go through a third test and then it gets filmed. So yeah, it's not quite out yet. Let's see. Okay. Nancy, I shared that a little while ago. Of course, I'm 20 minutes behind the chat, so it makes it really hard. Because you guys are, you keep chatting, so you probably already heard. But yeah, I've lost 10 pounds. Thank you, though. I appreciate that. I still have a ways to go. So when you start seeing me maybe on the live Q&As and stuff, or maybe even on Tasty Tuesdays wearing my wedding ring, then I've probably lost about 20 pounds because I've gained 30 pounds in the 4 years I've been doing this. So yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of weight. And it needs to end. It needs to stop. So I'm working on it. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Brittany says, "Oh, when you have too many eggs, can you please do the cured egg recipe where you take the egg yolks and cure them in salt? I think sugar too, and then they're hard enough to grate over pasta." Yes, yes, yes. That is on my list. I have been wanting to do that. I don't remember if I think it's salt. I don't think there's sugar in it, but it's a lot of salt. Like you've got to get, I think it's just table salt too. Like you just get the big old thing of table salt. But yes, that is so interesting to me. And sauna eggs too. I accidentally did those one time though. Yeah, I did sauna eggs, where they're just totally like black. It was by accident though. I did something with the pressure cooker and didn't remember it. And it was crazy. But I want to try this, true sauna eggs. I don't think I followed good guidelines for this, so I didn't eat them, but I want to try it. I also want to do black garlic. I think that's what it's called, where you take regular garlic and you just cook it forever at a low temperature and it becomes black, but apparently very good for you. Yeah, Terry. Yeah, she is a really good cook. My mom. Yep, definitely. Terry's my cousin, so she knows my mom very well. And my mom's a hoot. She's a hoot. Okay. Okay. Tony, how are you? Hi, I'm new to the foodie. Any tips on bringing the OL 601 to pressure? Okay, so that's the 8-quart with the smart lid. I had a pot with chili below the line, made sure nothing stuck on the bottom and there was enough liquid, could never get it to pressure. Your liquid was probably too thick. That is the reason. So, and probably thickened even more as it was simmering. So when you guys are making things like chili, it can be a little tricky because you almost have to keep them thinner and then thicken at the end with something like tomato paste or something like that. I know a lot of people don't want to do that, but the only other option really is to simmer or slow cook instead of pressure cook, because pressure cooking has to have that thin liquid to build the steam. Think about when you're boiling water on the stove, right? And you'll see little bubbles start to happen on the bottom, and then they make their way through the pot, and then they come out, and you've got a rolling boil, right? When it heats up to 212 degrees, you've got steam coming out, and you've got the bubbles on the top, right? Then take that same example and put milk in the pot, which is still thin, right? I mean, it's still thin, and you put it on to boil, and it takes longer to see any bubbles. But if you if you boil it to the point where it's 212 degrees, oftentimes you will scald the bottom. And that is because the steam can't release to the top because the liquid's just a little too thick. So as it heats, it ends up just burning on the bottom. So that's what happens with tomato sauces and other thicker sauces. Even if you think, oh, this looks like liquid, if it's not thin liquid, like clear liquid, you've got to be really careful. So that I would think that you probably needed another cup of a thin liquid like water or beef stock or something like that. What you can do is go onto my website and type, which is thesaltedpepper.com, type in quick chili. It will bring you to my pressure cook recipe for the chili. You don't have to use my ingredients or anything like that, but look it through it for how much of the ingredients I'm using with how much liquid I'm using. Because I think that I think I started with that recipe with 4 cups of beef stock, and I think that I don't know if I've changed the recipe or not, but I think I've actually tried to do it with 3 cups, and it worked fine too. I don't know if I took it all the way down to 2 cups, but I have diced tomatoes in there, which have a thinner liquid than like a tomato sauce. So look at the ingredients, compare them to yours, and make sure that you have enough thin liquid because I guarantee you that's what happened. Unless you try with water and it doesn't come to pressure again, then it's a problem with the pot. But with chili, it's really, really easy to do. Okay, Leanne, she air fried boiled eggs, 250 degrees for 16 minutes. Okay, and then an ice bath. So you can try that and see if that works. Let's see. Hi, Prezepis. I can't even say it, but hello, how are you? Wendy, mom takes precedence. Yep, yep, yep. Okay. All right. I'm that far behind, huh? Okay. 10 ounces. Okay. That's John giving his recipe for pasta. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Okay. I'm just going through here because you guys are really, oh, so Brittany's talking about her tomato sauce again and calls for fennel seed. Yeah, I bet that's amazing. I'm gonna have to get that recipe from you. Okay, I'm just going through because you guys are chatting with each other, which I love to see. All right. If I make homemade pasta that doesn't take long to cook, can I cook it in the sauce in the speedy? I'm pausing about this question because my feeling with this is if I took all the time to make homemade pasta, and I could pop it into boiling water and know that it was perfectly cooked, that's what I'm doing. Boiled salted water, and then make the sauce on the side and then put them together. Personally, I'm not saying it can't be done because I made homemade egg noodles and I have actually I think I pressure cooked with them. No, I didn't. Actually, I didn't. I put the homemade egg noodles, I think, in after. I'll have to look at that recipe. It's chicken and noodles, I think. Yeah. And I'll have to look at that recipe to see what I did. I don't think well, maybe I did pressure cook. I don't remember, but egg noodles are really easy to make. Like traditional pasta is a little bit harder, I think. So, I mean, and my other feeling is like, so the pasta, although it really needs thin liquid to absorb. And if you're just doing the sauce, like it's a thicker sauce, and you're going to simmer it, I'm assuming in the speedy, or maybe use steam. How thin is the sauce? I mean, it definitely could work if the sauce was thin enough, but if your sauce is already thick, I don't know. Anybody else have any ideas for this one? Because I think I have a mind block about homemade pasta that I can't get past. If I'm going to take the time to make it, I'm going to cook it on the stove in a pot of boiling water that's salted. That's just me. So let's see if somebody else has some ideas. Okay. Let's see. All right. Did I already do this one? Yes, I already did that one. Okay. Okay. So Rose, hi, welcome. Um, okay, I'm in a wheelchair and there are so many tall appliances, and I know there are some small ones, but I'm curious which ones do the exact same thing. Like an air fryer is equal to an oven. Okay. I mean, that's a broad question because there's so many different types of appliances. I mean, so many, whether they're Ninja brand or a different brand, Instant Pot or whatever, there's tons of them. So I really need it to be narrowed down. But, an air fryer is not exactly like an oven, but it is, I mean, for all intents and purposes, let's just keep it really, really simple and say that an air fryer is like a small convection oven. Okay. And so you can get them lower profile. But what I will also share with you is that I know a lot of people that have the Ninja Foodie, which is the pressure cooker and air crisper, are in wheelchairs. And what they do is they have a table that is low enough so they can actually sit at the table. They can prep their food, put it in the foodie. They can see everything, right? Really easily. I would obviously do not the 8 quart. I mean, standing up, counter height, I can't even see into the 8 quart. That's why I don't use it on camera too much. I use it at home a lot and I test recipes with it to make sure that there's no variables between the two sizes. But on camera, I mean, literally, I would need a platform to stand on to be able to comfortably work with it. So I would recommend finding, some sort of a table that's sturdy that you could actually sit and still work with your appliances. But the dual air fryer, if you're just looking for something that can bake, honestly, I think the one that I would look at the most would be the Ninja Foodie indoor grill. Okay. If you're not looking for pressure cooking, because that's got the lowest profile, it's really like low. Let me see. Where is it back there? It's back there somewhere, isn't it? Um, you can't really see it. But the XL grill, not even the one with the griddle, the XL grill is probably the shallowest. And then you open the lid, and of course, you're working on the base. So that would be my suggestion. Look into the grill, the indoor grill XL, because that's going to be longer and more shallow. And you can grill on it. And indoors, it's indoor grill. You can grill on it. You can air fry. You can bake. You just can't do anything that you would ordinarily do like on the stovetop. So you're not going to be able to boil pasta in it and things like that. The Speedy is a little bit shorter because it's 6 quarts and it's a little shorter than the Ninja Foodie, but like this much. Okay, so not that much. Okay, let's see. Thank you, Mrs. P. She's saying you're perfect just the way you are. Don't pay attention to any negative comments. Oh, I don't care about the negative comments anymore. I'm over that. Now it's just about me. I want to feel good. So, Alaska Family Kitchen is chiming in about the pressure cooked eggs. 1 minute with a quick release and allow them to sit in the pot for 3 minutes and then an ice bath. Perfect every time. Yep. So things vary depending on where you are and how you like things. All right, let's see. Aaron, just send me an email. I'll find it. I'll find it for you. Let's see. Okay, Jennifer, this is a great question. And I'm gonna actually go with Brittany and also tell you some things that I chose. Excuse me. So when a red pasta sauce is very acidic and sometimes it can be like a little bitter and just a little off-putting, the first thing you can do is simmer it longer. Okay, that is the longer you simmer it, the sweeter it's going to get. Okay, but short of that, because I never want to waste time. I shouldn't say waste time. For all the Italians that spend 8-12 hours making their gravy, their Sunday gravy, I know it's not wasted time. I know it's delicious. But if I'm in a time crunch, which I always am, and I want to do something really quick, I add a little bit of Demerara sugar. And it's a sugar, it's a larger crystal. And I just love it. For me, it doesn't seem to sweeten as much as like table sugar, but you could use table sugar. You could use brown sugar. But You could also, which is gonna sound really weird, but you could also add a little bit of balsamic vinegar. Even though that's acid, it has this different flavor that's gonna combine with the tomato sauce, and you might just find that that balances everything out. Also, make sure that you have adequate, seasonings, especially salt, in there to kind of balance everything. But yeah, but I just cheat and put a little bit of sugar in there. Hey, Skip, how are you? Are you guys watching on vacation? I'm honored. My friends Skip and Kathy, I think that I know they're still on vacation in Florida, and I can't believe that they've chimed in. So, hi, love you guys. All right. Jolene said her grandma did salt and watermelon. A lot of people do salt on their melons. I haven't never tried it, but I make a watermelon salad that has feta in it, and I think red wine vinegar, maybe balsamic vinegar. I don't remember, but I can see where that would work, but I haven't done it. Um, Rose Rose is sharing that she has a salt shaker full. She thought she had a lot of salt before, and then her blood test said she was low. Yeah, I think, sometimes because we hear over and over, watch your sodium, watch your sodium, watch your sodium, that we go to the extreme. Now, one thing I'll share with you from that book is she said it's basically impossible. It's not impossible. Okay. She didn't even say that. I'm not quoting her. I want to be clear because I don't remember exactly, but she said it is very unlikely. Let's just say that. Okay, very unlikely that you will oversalt your food at home to the point where it becomes a health concern. Okay. The problems are in restaurants and especially with processed foods. That's where we run into the problems. So it's not what you're doing at home. If you're cooking with fresh ingredients, which I consider, whole cuts of meat, things that are not overly processed, fresh vegetables, grains, rice, things like that, and you're starting out from scratch, not using packets because they are just full of sodium, um, then you control your salt. She says it's very unlikely that you'll ever oversalt. The other thing about salt that's interesting is I would suggest that if you wanted to really play around with salt and salting your food, is try out a couple different brands of salt. I do not recommend table salt for everyday type of salting of food because the granules are they're so small, they dissolve very quickly, and it's very easy to oversalt that way. Sea salt is my go-to, or lately, in fact, I'm going to order some more because I really love it. And I said this last time I was live, and I never can remember the name. Diamond, crystal diamond, or diamond crystal. Um, Kosher salt. Oh my gosh. It's flaky and it feels good as you put it through your fingers. And you get to know as you start to do it, more and more. I use a little salt container, right? And I just put in my fingers when I'm salting food for home. I just put my fingers in, and just put in what I want. And I've never oversalted, or well, shouldn't say never. I mean, obviously I have undersalted or oversalted at times. It happens. But usually you just know, you just get this feeling. And the way that the grains of salt go through your fingertips is really important because you can feel them. So you're better off, you're a better judge of how much you're using. So yeah, I don't know. I love salt. I love it. So okay. Um Sean, hi, how are you? Have I tried or done chicken cacciatore in the foodie yet? I have not. That's something I should do. I looked it up a long time ago, and I was doing some research on it because you know, being a food blogger is like way more complicated than most people know. You do research and you see if you have the authority with Google to even rank for a recipe, and it's complicated, but I don't remember what happened with that. I didn't know I looked into it, but I have not done one yet. Um, okay. Jolene is sharing with us. Dehydrate sliced tomato plain and blend up to a powder. but store the dehydrated tomatoes in powder as needed. No secret or special way. I use a NutriBullet. Okay, perfect. So just dehydrate plain tomatoes. See, mine was really seasoned. And even though it tasted terrible in the sauce, like it tasted underseasoned and weak and icky, once it was dehydrated, it was like, oh, that's too much. Like I couldn't even imagine adding that to anything, really. Um, all right. Thank you, Shelly. I appreciate that. I'm glad your husband enjoys the recipes. That's awesome. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Shelly's sharing, but I'm not sure what it's about. We use flour after it's finished on the high saute. I'm not sure if that's about the chili or not. I've never used chili. I've never used flour to thicken chili. I mean, it would work, obviously. I just have never done it. All right. And Terry's saying make it in the slow cooker mode. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. If you don't want to alter your recipe, then pick a different cooking method because it's probably the pressure cook that's burning it. Okay. Let's see. Keep going, keep going. Let's see. Okay, so Elsie says hello to everyone. Sorry joining late. I made your recipe for pot roast. You mentioned we could add more meat to feed more people. Would I have to add more of the seasonings? I would definitely make enough of the seasoning rub to rub all the meat before you sear it. Now my pot roast recipe is the 30-minute one, right? Because you put it into chunks. So yeah, I would probably increase the seasoning because you put the seasoning is in the flour, but you only lightly coat with the flour. I'm trying to remember the recipe. It's been a long time. You lightly coat with the flour and then you sear it. Then you deglaze. So yes, you would want to increase the seasonings. You don't need any more flour though. Oh, well, you're going to have more liquid. If you needed more flour, it would just be a tablespoon or two. So I don't even think I'd worry about the flour, but yes, you do want the seasonings on to get onto the meat and things like that. I'm sorry, I'm not being exact on that one. I think it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It probably would be fine even if you didn't increase the seasonings, honestly. But I don't want you to have underflavored food either. Linda's gonna get an automatic pasta machine. Won't be hard to make. I still think it's hard to make. Well, I use a KitchenAid with a pasta. I'm gonna call it a pasta press. I don't even know what you would call it, but I still think it's hard to make. I love it. Now there is a easy pasta though to make, and I took a Italian cooking class with my friend Amber. Oh my gosh, we had so much fun, and we made this lemon ricotta ravioli. It was so good. And I've been meaning to actually recreate that recipe. And so I need to do that. But I'm kind of off carbs. Not like I'm not keto, but I'm kind of not doing the carbs. I'm going to have to excuse myself for just a minute because I don't know if you heard the beeping probably like 30 minutes ago. I have Mississippi pot roast in there. And well, you know what? At this point, it's not going to matter because I wanted to do a full natural release. It's just sitting in there and keep warm. It can stay. It'll be fine. And this is what happens too with me testing recipes. So that's only really like a half of a test because I can't really say if a full release and then open it up and serve it is going to be good because it's been sitting in there on keep warm. And that's still, I mean, for a little while, at least it's still cooking it. So, yeah, well, more pot roast. All right, I'm going to kind of go through. Okay, George, I signed up for your course. It is really amazing. The number of videos and the depth they go into blew me away. I had a tight condensation tray, so I had no idea it was supposed to come out. Yes, that course, I have to say, and I'm not trying to brag, that course is amazing. It is amazing. Like it is. And I'm still doing videos for it. I just uploaded 2 yesterday, or not yesterday, but a couple days ago, for the OL series. So I'm still working on those. And there's over 100 videos in there. It's really good. One thing I want to do after it's all said and done is go back and I want to create like a little manual and a little cheat sheet, kind of a book for you guys, which you'll get through an email, because you've already signed up for the course, no extra charge or anything like that. So I want to go and kind of fine tune that to get things for people who are more visual, but it's amazing. Thank you. And thank you for sharing that, because I think it's pretty amazing myself. All right, let's see. Linda, have you seen the new Ninja 12-in-1 double oven with flex door? I have seen it. I don't have it. I'm not planning on getting it. I really don't do that many oven recipes. I use the XL oven mostly for dehydrating. And so I really like I love the XL oven. At home, I don't even have an oven at home because couple of years ago, the lightning struck our house, and that's the only thing it ruined was the oven. The oven won't turn on. I can still use the gas stovetop, so I can still cook on the stove, but I don't have the oven. So I use the XL oven at home for everything, and I love it. I absolutely love it. But I don't really do a lot of recipes for it because I don't really feel like there's a need for them. I mean, there are so many oven recipes out there, and they don't have to be specific to the XL oven. I mean, you can make anything that you would make in a regular oven in the XL oven. And usually don't even have to adjust your temperatures, just maybe gets done a little bit quicker. But I will say that one of my followers, Dorothy, has the double oven with flex door, and she loves it. And she says, because one thing about the XL oven and even the flip oven is I didn't think it did a great job at air frying. So I wasn't really I liked it for a lot of things, but not as an all-purpose thing. I think the Ninja Foodi does better. The Ninja Foodi pressure cooker and air crisper does better as an all-purpose type of appliance, because I don't feel like the oven did a good job at air frying. However, she says the flex door oven, the top part of it, does a really good job at air frying. So yeah, there is that. And it's going to be a bigger surface. So that might really appeal to a lot of people that want to do more air frying things, but I don't have it. I say I won't get it, but you never know. You never know with me. If it goes on sale, maybe I'll get it. Okay, let's see. Hi, Sam. How are you? Welcome. I hope you love the foodie. I really do. I mean, it's not for everybody, but I didn't think it was going to be for me because I was that old-fashioned cook. I didn't even really use a slow cooker that much. I always cook stove, oven. I mean, the long way around the block type of cook. And I kind of didn't think I would like this thing because most of the time, all purpose appliances don't do anything really well. They do everything okay, but they don't do all of it really well. The Ninja Foodi blew my mind. It just blew my mind the way that it worked. And I've been in love with it ever since. Okay. John is throwing his little curveball. So if you don't know this is kind of one of our things, isn't it, John? So John, every single time I'm live doing a Q&A, and sometimes I think on Simply Cooking, what is it called? What do I do? Oh, Tasty Tuesday. Yeah, Tasty Tuesday. He always throws me like a question, a curveball, some kind of question. All right. So Louise, for our newbies, can you explain what pot and pot cooking is, or 360 meals? Yes, I can. So pot and pot cooking is when you would use liquid like water, because there's no reason to use anything else, in the bottom. Let me back up. Unless you were cooking something in the bottom, which is going to get into more 360 meals. But let's just say, for all intents and purposes, we wanted to make a thick, we're going to make lasagna, right? It's very difficult to make lasagna with a pressure cook mode in the Ninja Foodi pot, because by the time you start to build the pressure, you're burning things to the bottom. Okay. And if you put in enough liquid to make it work, which you could do, you would end up with lasagna soup. So that's one of those things that really can't be done that easily in the pot. Although I did sort of figure out a way in my course, and we did sort of do one, a half of a batch. But anyway, I'll get off course, here, which I do frequently. Um, so that would be a really good pot and pot. So what that means is that you have another container, whatever it is, as long as it's safe for pressure cooking. So it can be like a tin, 8 or 9 inch tin, pan, and you would put your ingredients for your lasagna in that pan, pretty much just like you would if you were baking in the oven. If your pasta's raw, though, you're probably going to add a little bit more liquid so that it can absorb that and tenderize and everything. But if you already have cooked your pasta, and you would just assemble it just like you would if you were going to put a casserole of lasagna into the oven. Okay, so then you put 1 cup of water in the inner pot and you pressure cook. So you put that pan on the rack above the water and you pressure cook, just like, just like anything else you would pressure cook. But that is pot and pot. So that means you have the main pot with water in it and the other pot on top. It is a really great way to cook rice. Oftentimes, rice is a little tricky in the inner pot, and especially with certain types of rice where it'll get sticky, it'll burn. It's either too soupy or not soupy, and or not, too dry. So pot and pot really takes care of that for you. And so it's a great thing. Pot and pot is also used for 360 meals. 360 meals are when you cook all components of your meal at one time. And traditionally, the components of a meal would be a protein, a starch, and a vegetable. Okay. I know we all don't eat like that. So it's not a given, but that's ordinarily what we're talking about when we talk about the 360 meals. And so you would do maybe your rice or your quinoa or something on the bottom, and you would do, let's say, your chicken and your vegetables on top. The trick with 360 meals is getting the timing correct because you have to modify the ingredients sometimes to make them cook at the same time. So, for example, I'm trying to think of one that I've done. I have a couple recipes on my website, but one I was just thinking about is, let's say I wanted to do rice on the bottom, and I wanted to do chicken and, let's say, broccoli. Okay. So rice takes 2 minutes of pressure cook time with a 10-minute natural release. I'd use that same timing, whether it's pot and pot or whether it's on the bottom. For this instance, it's on the bottom. Okay. The rice is on the bottom. The rack's in. Then we have to think, okay, will a whole chicken breast cook in 2 minutes with a 10-minute natural release? It might not. So what I could do is I could butterfly it. I could split it in half, make it thinner. So now I have, instead of one thick breast, I have 2 thinner breasts. That's modifying the ingredients. Now it's definitely going to cook in 2 minutes. Okay. The vegetables, well, if I want to have broccoli, and let's say the broccoli is 2 minutes of pressure cook with a 10-minute natural release, going to overcook the broccoli? Probably, especially if it was small florets. So what I could do is I could actually try to fit a whole head in, because if it's all combined, it's going to cook slower. So you may be fine with that. Now, I'm not saying you would. I haven't tried that, but you might be fine. Or if you just cut the broccoli in really large florets, really large, you might be fine. The other thing you can do is use frozen broccoli in a little pan, and that seems to do okay with that timing. I have tried that. And or you could use fresh broccoli and wrap it in foil if you're not opposed to using foil during cooking, and that will kind of slow. You could even put some little holes in it if you wanted to, and that will slow the cooking as well. But I think, yeah, so I'm making sure I'm trying to be as accurate as I can with just off the cuff thinking about these foods. And I think that's pretty accurate. The other thing would be, like, let's say I wanted to cook brown rice, which takes a lot longer. And I wanted to do brown rice in the bottom, and I wanted to do chicken on top with some vegetables. I'm trying to think of a vegetable that would take that long to cook. So we have a 30-minute cook time, about that. So maybe it's 15 minutes with a 15-minute natural release. So maybe I would use frozen chicken breast instead of thawed, or maybe I would use frozen chicken thighs. depending on the pressure cook time. This would all depend on that. And then I would think of the vegetable carrots. Whole carrots might stand up to that amount of time pressure cooking. Maybe not, but it might. So those are the things you think about when you're doing the 360 meals. But when you get them right, they're amazing. Because if you like all of the components in the meal, you can literally have your dinner all done at once. Everything's hot. It's easy peasy. You put it in there and you forget about it. So, I mean, they're wonderful. They're different from one pot though, where everything's dumped in the pot. These are usually separate. So you would be plating your chicken, you would be plating your vegetable, you would be plating your rice or your pasta or whatever grain or whatever starch, potatoes. Potatoes are a little bit easier to deal with 360 meals because there's a lot of ways you can modify them to adapt to the cooking temperatures of your protein, your whatever your chicken or whatever else you're using. Because you could keep them whole and they will take, they can handle 30 minutes of pressure cook time. You can cube them and they can be done in 2 minutes. So they're really versatile to use. And then you could, air fry them afterwards if you wanted to, or you could just mash them. So there's a lot of things you can do with 360 meals, but they take some work and they take some thinking, but I do love them. And people are asking me all the time to do more, and I haven't, because they do take a lot of time, a lot of trial and error, and then it's always, which I totally understand this, but when I find the 3 ingredients that go together and cook together and do beautifully together, always, can I substitute this? Can I substitute that? And I feel bad because I don't know exactly without trying all of that. I can give my guesses, but I don't know, and I feel bad about it. But anyway. Okay, Linda says her husband put salt on his ice cream even before the sweet and salty became popular. Yeah, actually, I put salt in my ice cream mix too sometimes. Not all the time. I don't know why not all the time. With vanilla, definitely, because I want to boost that up. All right, let's see. Okay, Sharon. Hi, Louise. I give up on yogurt in the steam crisper. My yogurt comes out in the Instant Pot. Another pot will not come out. Either it goes bad or it won't set up. I do it the same on all pots. Okay. So Sharon, I had a yogurt fail yesterday. I'm really upset about it too. And I do not know if it was that my last batch of homemade yogurt was a little bit too weak, meaning that it was a little older and didn't have the oomph that it needed. I have never had a problem with the OL series. Now, I don't know what you mean by steam crisper. I'm not sure. I'm thinking maybe you mean the OL series, the 1-lid model of Ninja Foodie. It has a yogurt function. Is that what you're using? I would assume so. And I've never had an issue until the other day. So I'd be interested to know how many times you've tried it and what function you're actually using, if you're doing the boil method or if you're doing the cold start method. Because mine has worked out perfectly every time until yesterday. So I don't think it's the foodie. I think it's something else. I'm not saying that for you. I'm saying that for me. I don't think that it's the foodie for me. So yeah, I don't want you to give up. But of course, if you have an Instant Pot that works all the time, I mean, what the hey, use that, it's all good. Okay, let's see. So Sharon's, we're talking about the yogurt still. I wonder if the function button for yogurt temperature is too low or something. I don't think so. Mine's always worked out until yesterday, and it didn't. I think, if anything, oh, you know what though? Yes. Oh, I didn't use the OL. I didn't use the OL. I used my other one at home yesterday. I used the 2-lid model. That's the first time I've used the 2-lid model in a long time to make yogurt. I'm wondering if that's the issue. So I'm going to have to, I'm going to go back to the other one. I've been using the Steam and Crisp one, which is the 1-lid model, the Smart Lid. Okay. Interesting. All right. Let's see. All right, George, you can't. So George says he's got the OP 500 UK, and the one thing I'd love to know is how to change the temp from Celsius to Fahrenheit. I can find out how to do that with the button-only models. You did? Oh my gosh. Well, George, listen, if you figured out how to change, because I don't have the UK model, obviously. If you figured out how to change the degrees from Celsius to Fahrenheit on your button models, will you please email me, Louise at thesaltedpepper.com. I'd like to add that to the course, number one, even though I can't show it. Maybe I can, demo it in some other way. And then maybe we can troubleshoot, because if you can do it on one, I would think you could do it on the other. So this is exciting. This is the first I've ever heard of anyone figuring it out. So yeah, please email me, Louise at thesaltedpepper.com. Let's dive into that one. Hi there, Forgiven Ministries. How are you? Just wanted to say thanks for helping me learn the Ninja Foodie, because we had to live in the back of our shop for a while and had no kitchen. You helped us cook all of your meals in it. That is awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Oh, and Kathy says she would never eat watermelon without salt. I have to try it. I'm going to try it this year. A lot of people do it and they love it. Oh, and George is saying black pepper on strawberries is amazing. My wife thinks I'm mad and won't even try it. I would try it. I have some strawberries. Do you want me to try it right now? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let me get a strawberry. And I have black pepper. Oh, this is fun. I'll tell you right now if I like it or don't like it. Now I'm going to have to move this table, so you're going to see the thing move to open up the refrigerator. Let me pull out a strawberry. These strawberries are pretty amazing looking. Oh, that's so fun. Okay, let me get some pepper, and I got a really beautiful strawberry that I will cut. Oh, this is fun. I like trying new things. I might not like it, but I might. Let's see. Let's see. What is the verdict? I got my pepper, and I actually have a little cutting board right here, so I can cut this. Okay. So I've got half of this beautiful strawberry. This is gorgeous. They look so good. And I'm going to take a pinch of pepper. Let's do this right here. I don't know if I'm doing too much or not. Okay. Okay, here we go. That's interesting. I'm going to have to share this with Jeff. I'm not sold on it, though. But it's interesting. It changes the flavor. Not terribly, not in a bad way either. It adds a little dimension, but that little kick of the pepper at the end is quite nice. That's really interesting. I would definitely suggest that people try it. That was even better. I put more on. Wow. Very interesting. I'm not sure I would do it every time. I'm getting a little spiced. George, thanks for that. Awesome. Next, I will try the watermelon. I probably have now. I'm going to have strawberry in my teeth. Oh, well. Shelly said her husband's going to try the pepper too. Let me know. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. 4 times now. Started with heating the milk. Then after adding the yogurt, when the milk cools down, then I tried heating the milk on the stove. But you don't do that, Sharon. Once you add the starter to the yogurt, you don't heat it back up. It just goes to the ferment. You have to hit start to go to the ferment. So I might be misunderstanding what you're doing. So, you can send me an email, Louise at thesaltedpepper.com. I'm happy to help everybody I can. I'm not as quick at it as I used to be because I have so many, emails. But I love it. I love that. That's the joy of doing this, is connecting with you guys and trying to help, and then you guys showing me new things. I love that too. It's just awesome. Okay. Well, let's see. Hi, Christopher. How are you? Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. No problem that you can't tune in. I'm glad you're liking the recipes. And I forgot, I didn't put this up. People on YouTube can't see because he's commenting from Facebook. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Oh, so George says he doesn't have the button, but from the comments it works. I have never seen anybody who's been able to do that. Never. People ask about it all the time. So if you remember where you saw that, I'll try to do some investigation on that. Okay. So Shelly, you can, the flour sack dish towels, if you belong to Sam's Club, you can get them really inexpensive there. Don't worry about going through me. Okay. Don't worry about that. You can get them. But actually I can give a link if you belong to Sam's Club. I do actually now have affiliate links for Sam's Club. I really do, actually. So if you wanted to email me, I could send that to you. I think I can send it through email. Amazon links I can't send through email because it's against their terms of service. But I do have them, or I did have them in my Amazon shop, which is amazon.com/shop/the salted pepper. That's how you get there. And under Ninja Foodie accessories or kitchen accessories, one or the other, I'll have those flour sacks that I use. But I do believe that they're cheaper at Sam's Club. And I want you guys to get the best deal and not worry about me. I don't want you to worry about me. I appreciate it though, a lot. But if you want them through Sam's because they're cheap, I can send you a link and you can have them delivered. I don't even know if you need to be a member to have them delivered, but sometimes you have to pay for shipping, I think. Oh, so John's telling me I need to let the pepper sit for a while. I was too excited, huh? I ate them too quick. Okay. Okay. So we're adding a new dimension now, especially if the strawberries are broken down into cream. Yeah, in a cream. Oh my gosh, I bet that's amazing. Now I can see that. Perfect. And Mare's saying that she loves black pepper on strawberries too. That's awesome. And KO says, your recipe for yogurt is great. I make it every couple weeks. I have several different recipes on my website. And while we're talking about yogurt, I want to just say that the yogurt recipe that I have on my website uses the dehydration function on the Ninja Foodie, because the Ninja Foodies, when they first came out, did not have a yogurt function. But I encourage everybody who has a yogurt function to use that instead of dehydrate. I think it's just easier, but both work. Okay, George, I look forward to your email. All right. Shelly, hang tight. I mean, I can get you the link if you want. Let me go through these real quick, and then I can put the link, because I can actually put the affiliate link if you want in here. Well, I could do this. And how do you know it failed? Because they weren't in stock, or because you don't get any confirmation that it went to me. There's just a little cookie that's saved, and then it applies to my account. Okay. But let me go through, because I'm gonna have to go here in just a minute. I'm so long-winded. My gosh. Okay. So let's see. Am I down to the end now? Oh, I am. Okay, cool. All right. So I can I'll share two links here if I can find where I need to go. Right here, Amazon. Amazon.com. I don't know. My husband is messaging me now. What's funny? He's asking me, I wonder what happened to your yogurt this time, which tells me that even though I put it in the refrigerator, it still did not set up. I thought, well, I'm going to put it in the refrigerator because it looked like it was trying to work, but it didn't work. Funny, huh? I don't know if he's watching. I don't think he's watching. Let's see. All right, I put an extra .com there. Okay, here's the link for anybody who's interested, and by all means, don't feel any pressure or anything like that. But that is my Amazon store. Those are not my products. Those are products that I use, and I keep them in my store so that people can find them when I either talk about them or demo them or things like that. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't updated it in a really long time, so it's probably not as thorough as I should. I mean, there are so many things I should be keeping up with that I just never have time to do. Like I've got a sales section there where I was trying to put the sales, the cheapest, well, I say cheapest, the best deal on different appliances or different things like that. So people could go and check every day to see what's on sale. But guess what? I don't have time every day to look through and see what everything's, if it's on sale or not. So it's not, I can't update it because I can't keep up with it. I'm looking for these towels now, so I can just give you the direct link. So the towels are going to be under kitchen tools, unless they're not in here anymore. Huh. I don't see them. The thing with I'm not Sam's. The thing with Amazon is they change things so much. And so what happens is like the links change, so they break, so they don't work for people. It's very frustrating. You need to almost be full time, just paying attention to what links. Okay. Oh, they're under ideas for the kitchen. Oh, okay. Good. I was just gonna. I want to make sure I'm sharing the same link here. So let me go back. Ideas for the kitchen. I need better titles for this, don't I? Oh, they were the same ones. Okay. So let's see here. I can get the link pretty easily. Okay. So I'm just going to throw this in, and there we go. Okay. There we go. I was going to do videos on Amazon. So I was going to do like short demos of the products that I have, so that if people were interested in those products, they could actually see, like, I would measure them for them, see how they fit in different appliances or whatever, so that you're sure that you're buying the right thing, what you want, right? But I don't have time either. I just don't have time. It's crazy. Okay. I need an assistant. I do. I think I'm going to hire somebody. I'm a control freak though, guys. And I'm very particular. So my husband says, oh, Lord. He said, Louise, don't hire anybody. It's not going to go well. It's not. And I'm like, I need help though. So I'm going to have to learn, bite my tongue, and not be, I'm not demanding. That's not really how I am. I'm very particular. Like, I know I make mistakes and I know everybody's not perfect, but I don't know. I'm overly particular sometimes. So now nobody wants to work for me now. That's okay. That's all right though. All right, guys, listen, I'm going to run. I think I got to everybody's question. I hope so. And it's always so much fun to hang out with you guys. I love this. And I love the Tasty Tuesdays too, where I'm cooking and we're all, having a good time. But I really love the Q&As because I can really better engage and see the comments and things like that. It's a little trickier when I'm doing Tasty Tuesday. But now next week on Tuesday, as of right now, we are planning on doing Tasty Tuesday. I think I will be back in town. I'm not sure if I'm going out of town this weekend or not. There's a lot of balls up in the air right now. We've had several deaths in the family and friends, and it's really kind of a crazy time. So I still haven't decided what we're doing, but as of now, we'll do Tasty Tuesday next week, but I may have to cancel, just so you know. The unfortunate thing is I definitely have to cancel the next Q&A. Let me look at the calendar here. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna have to cancel the next Q&A, which is June 13th, because Jeff and I are going to Arizona. His aunt passed away. My aunt passed away. So there's just a lot going on. So definitely next Q&A is canceled, and I will keep you updated on social media the best I can about next week for Tasty Tuesday. Okay? Yeah, next week. I'm getting myself confused. All right. I love you guys so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. You guys have a good night, and I will see you next week, hopefully. If not, it's going to be in 3 weeks. Okay. Bye bye.